Well, it's that time. Happy Sunday and welcome everyone to episode 33 of Video Game Club. As always, I'm your host Tyler, and I have with me today the number one Travis Touchdown cosplayer of 2015, Austin.
2015, that's an interesting
why
year.
that
Hello.
It's what came to mind.
Oh.
And it would not be a Video Game Club episode without Gene the Cat's best friend, Mox.
Oh, thank you. Oh, I'm so honored.
I pet that cat as many times as I was in my hotel room.
Yep,
Motel.
anytime I would visit. Got a pet Gene.
Yay.
As a reminder, the nominations for this episode that were suggested by Austin included No More Heroes, Zone of the Enders, The Second Runner, and Advent Rising. But before we get started talking about No More Heroes, let's talk about what we've been playing. And let's start with you, Mox. What have you been playing?
I never play anything else. I just play Final Fantasy 14 and Genshin Impact. There's a new update in Genshin Impact. There's a mermaid girl that everybody hates.
Why does everyone hate her?
Because she doesn't do anything. She doesn't have any special skills.
But she is a mermaid.
She is, and that's the only reason. Everybody's like, do I get her because she's cute, or do I not get her because she's not meta? And then that's the fight.
What about you, Austin? What have you been playing?
Oh, I finally started working on Wind Waker.
I haven't
And man,
started.
That is a really tedious game.
Why do we pick games that are horrible?
I wanted to play
this. I thought that I would, once I got to a certain point, like just cruise on and really love it. And man, I didn't like it on the GameCube. I didn't like it when it first came on the Wii U, and I still don't like it now. But we'll see as I get further. Because right now, where I'm at, just like,
I'm starting to enjoy it more. I made it to the Earth Temple. I haven't done
you're a lot further than me.
Yeah, I haven't done the Earth Temple part yet, but that's where I'm at.
How many hours?
I don't know how many hours I've been playing. I haven't even been keeping track. I'm just trying to get done. However I get there, I don't care.
It's on the short list of Zelda games that I haven't finished, and I would like to finish all the Zelda games at some point.
Yeah. I also found like one of the shards of the Triforce, and it was very tedious, the thing I had to do, and it was... You can see... You can draw a line from this game to Breath of the Wild on a lot of things, and that is interesting, but to do them before they were like fully fleshed out ideas is kind of not fun in this case. But I've also been playing a lot of games that are in Game Pass, and I'm looking forward to potentially doing another overview video. We will see how things go, but yeah, don't want to commit to anything. But we're not here to talk about any of that. No, we're not. We're also, Mox, before I jump in here, Dragon Quest and Nier Automata were really good games.
Yes.
You said we always pick bad ones. Those ones
You're
were
right.
fun.
I'm sorry. Those were excellent.
Okay.
I wish I could take back having played Nier Automata so I could play it again.
Oh, dude, yeah.
You could also just like not pick Famicom Detective Club next time if you don't
really
want to play bad games.
I don't know.
You gave it a 6.
I know, but like I liked it like in retrospect. Like I don't think about it and say, oh my god, I hate myself for playing that game.
Yeah.
Well, that makes one of us.
I'm gonna play the second one and I'm gonna love it, and then you're gonna be sorry.
Oh gosh.
I bought the double pack.
I believe you.
Oh,
I
Lord.
knew you did. I was like, I bet Mox bought this. That or she pirated it.
No, I bought the double pack right out of the gate.
Dang, that's commitment right there. I could not throw $60 at two terrible remakes. God.
And you wouldn't even buy it after they were like, oh, don't you want that second game? It's out. You can buy it at a discount.
I will almost always buy the discount bundle option versus like just buying the one, because I'm always just like, I'll regret it later. And this was the only time I was just like, I don't. Let's see how I like it first.
Yeah.
And thank God for that instinct.
Yeah, that was just offensive when they sent that email.
Yeah.
Anyway, as I mentioned before, this is Video Game Club, where every 2 weeks we discuss a game voted on by our wonderful friends in the Bombchu Discord and discuss that game right here on twitch.tv/BombchuTV. And if you can't catch us live, don't you worry your little heart, because it will be on YouTube and all major podcast services.
My dad listened to the podcast and he said it was really good.
Oh, hello, Mox's father.
Hey, Mox is dead.
He's so nice. He said I'll have to catch up when I told him about the other games we played.
Oh, that's awesome. So yeah, let's jump into No More Heroes. No More Heroes is an action-adventure hack and slash developed by Grasshopper Manufacture. Not manufacturer, just manufacture. It is published by Marvelous Entertainment in Japan, Ubisoft in North America, and Rising Star Games in Europe. And I'm only talking about the original No More Heroes because there were some ports and some things, and the version that I played was published by a different company, but we're going to talk about just the OG one. The one that was released on January 22nd, 2008 in North America. What was going on in 2008 in gaming?
Oh no.
Or just in general, I graduated the high schools in 2008.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Headed off to college.
Yep. Just try and figure out what I want to do in this world. Hardware? I don't think any hardware came out in 2008. I couldn't find any, at least, when I was looking around. Software, though. Oh boy, we had some software. Devil May Cry 4, Army of 2, Rainbow Six Vegas 2, Okami. Hey man, Army of 2 was a big deal at the time.
I played a good chunk of it with Andron, and there were some really cool spots, especially like the back-to-back shootouts. Those were pretty cool. But also, it's just thinking about it, it's making me laugh.
Okami, Grand Theft Auto 4, Metal Gear Solid 4, Call of Duty World at War, Little Big Planet, Left 4 Dead, and my personal favorite of all the games that were released in 2008, Pixel Junk Monsters.
Oh my god.
If you haven't played it, go play it. It's amazing. What engine was this game made in? I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was a custom engine. I didn't see anything that was like, it was this. So yeah, let's go into the history. And I kind of switched things around a bit to how we usually do it. We're going to go into just like a little overview of the game, and we're going to talk about the development before going into the plot. So stick around so, you won't have the game's plot spoiled for you. Not that this is like a really heavy plot game, but,
I don't know. There's some pretty big old plot towards the end.
Oh my
I mean,
god.
towards the end, there's some plot for sure, but
But they totally lampshade it. It doesn't matter. Ugh.
yeah.
What do you mean
Sorry.
lampshade?
Like lampshade. We're gonna have a TV
we'll get to it.
trope
We'll get
link.
to it later.
Okay.
Okay. So throughout this game, you control a character called Travis Touchdown. And this, I guess, like, somewhat open world. You move around in this open world on foot or a vehicle that I believe is supposed to be like a scooter, but I thought it was a motorcycle. The gameplay is pretty open. You are trying to become the top assassin. There's 10 assassins in this list, and you are trying to climb your way to the top. In between each assassination mission that you go on, you have to earn a certain amount of money. This money is earned doing little part-time jobs, which are like, I don't know, mini games almost, I guess you would say.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you can also earn money by doing these like other missions, which are kind of like little battles and with like different conditions, like you can't be hit once or kill this leader in a specific amount of time or something like that. That's another way that you can earn money. You can spend that money not only on an opportunity to fight an assassin, but you can also spend it on weapon upgrades, training sessions, which allow you to learn new moves and also increase your strength and vitality. You can spend it on clothes for whatever reason. Did you guys buy any clothes?
No.
Same.
I couldn't find any that looked better than what Travis was already wearing. He got the anime girl shirt on. Like, it was all the other ones were just looked boring. I was like, no, this is Travis's personality. This is what he wanted to look like. That's what I'm going with.
This is what
Also,
he
it was a
wanted
waste
to
of money.
look like.
You can also buy videotapes, which allow you to learn new moves as well. Yeah, and that's essentially what you spend your money on.
Did you cover the training and weapons and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Travis is equipped with a beam katana, which can be upgraded, which is what I meant by when I said you can spend that money on weapons. There's weapon upgrades. I think you also like replace the katana, right? Like you can get
replace the katana a couple times. Yeah.
The katana, the way that combat works is there's a high and low position of the character. You can do like a high swing with the katana and a low swing, and then he also has like a high, like almost like a punch, and then like a low kick. They do different things, like so if a enemy is like blocking, for example, you may need to like do a punch or a kick to make it to where they're like unbalanced and then or knocked out in some way, and then you can do one of your famous wrestling moves. That's a big part of the combat in this game, which is just bizarre. Sometimes during combat, depending on like if you're on like one of the main missions or not, whenever you kill an enemy, you get like this slot machine that goes off, and depending on what shows up on the slot machine, you can get like almost like special modes. I think they're called Dark Side, I believe, or that's one of them. Right. Or yeah, and some of them like you can like shoot projectiles with your beam. One of them has like this like quick time event where you just like press whichever button shows up and it's like it insta kills that enemy. There's all kinds of different things that you can get, and I don't know, those were like kind of fun, but I didn't really like, you don't really rely on them. They're just kind of like,
yeah,
great, this happened. Anything else about the game, like just overview, not story stuff that you guys want to touch on?
There's a kitty.
Yeah, there is. There's a focus, at least for the initial release, on motion controls, and so a lot of these actions are built around, like especially like wrestling moves and finishers, are built around, since it was originally a Wii game, they're all built very much around using motion in just kind of fun ways. Now, did you guys get to try it? Well, sorry, Tyler, did you get to try it on a regular controller? Or did you do motion controls?
I only used the Pro controller.
Okay, so once we get to the thoughts section, I'm interested to hear how that played for you.
For sure.
Yeah. Even the mini games are also kind of like, they've got a lot of motion focus, which they steered away from in the at least in the sequel.
Yes. There's also, we'll kind of touch on it in the plot as well, and later on in the episode, about how like you stay at like this hotel room that's kind of like where your home base is. There's some stuff in the overworld that motel. It is a motel. Apologize, you're correct. There's some stuff in the overworld that you can like, some little goodies you can find, like treasure and stuff like that. But for the most part, like you're just all about doing these little missions so that you can earn enough money so that you can go on these like larger missions where you fight through these little dungeons that eventually get you to a boss battle, and then you slowly climb the ranks. And all the boss battles are very unique, and we can go into detail on that later as well. Okay, so let's talk about the development a bit. So this game was developed, like I said, by a Grasshopper manufacturer, which was founded in 1988. Is that right? Did I write that down correctly? Oh my gosh, I have to check. Because I'm second guessing myself. Because their first game was until 1999. Oh my gosh.
Well, so if it's anything like, was it HAL or Game Freak? One of those was not like making games initially when they formed.
Okay.
They were like making video game magazines.
It is.
So they might have been in a different business.
It is 98. I apologize. So founded in 1998 by Gochi Suda, based in Tokyo. They were acquired by Gung Ho Online Entertainment in 2013. Does anybody here know Gung Ho Online Entertainment?
That sounds familiar.
It's those guys that own Grasshopper.
They are.
Don't they own? They make that one Match 3 game. That's
Puzzles
really
and Dragons.
Yeah.
And they're also famous for Ragnarok Online.
Yes, I love Ragnarok. Oh my gosh,
I knew it. I knew Mox would know about it.
Oh, I love Ragnarok. Wait, do they still own it? I thought they sold it.
They do like the Japanese servers only, I think.
Oh, yes.
That's what I read. Anyway, the first game by Grasshopper was The Silver Case, which released in 1999. It was a point-and-click adventure game, visual novel type. Did anybody play it? I'm going to say no.
Mm-mm.
Good.
I did not, but it sounds like Mox needs to do some research for us.
Yeah, it does. Sounds right up her alley.
Oh my god.
Some notable games, though, from them include Shining Soul 1 and 2, they were on Game Boy Advance, I believe. Killer 7. Austin, you played Killer 7.
I played a bit of it, yeah.
Haven't you guys talked about that and said, "Oh, this game's so good, we didn't play it"? Is that one of
Killer
those
7?
games? Yeah, I can't remember.
I don't think so.
I don't
Oh.
remember.
It's never come up for Game Club.
Yeah.
Okay.
No More Heroes. They did some of the games in the Fatal Frame series
Oh,
as well.
Fatal Frame.
Shadows of the Damned, which was an EA published game, which that's the game that I was describing to you a while ago, Austin.
Oh, I remember.
Yes.
When I went and looked up Grasshopper, I was like, oh, that's the game Tyler was talking about.
Yes. If you haven't played that game, it's very weird. It's on Game Pass too, so knock yourself out. Lollipop Chainsaw and many others.
I have a sealed copy of Lollipop Chainsaw because I knew I wanted to play it, and I just didn't have time at the time, and I still have not made the time to ever open it up since it came out.
Sell that on eBay. Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes, and No More Heroes 3 marked Suda's return to a directorial role at the company. The last game he directed was this one, No More Heroes. Little fun fact for you. No More Heroes, which was the working title for it was Project Heroes. It was initially planned as an Xbox 360 game.
Oh god.
Until Yasuhiro Wada suggested that the Wii would be really great for the Wii because of its unique control structure, and they decided to put it on Wii instead. But can you imagine if this would have been on 360 first? Like,
that would have been interesting.
Because it's very
I don't know if
Japanese
it would have
game.
been as notable.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of nuts. This game, oh my gosh, has so much like inspirations, like so many different films, actors, music.
Yeah.
The title came from a UK punk band album name called
The
No More
Stranglers.
Heroes from the Stranglers. Yep,
love the
1977. The structure of the United Assassins Association is based on the film El Topo, probably, which features a similar, albeit smaller, but ranking system. Travis Touchdown and his antics are based on Johnny Knoxville of Jackass and the wrestler Josh Barnett, who also served as the persona from which the Destroy Man character was created. He's a boss later on that you fight. Contrary to popular belief, Travis's weapon, the beam katana, is not based on the lightsaber from Star Wars, but instead from the 1980s Japanese television series Space Sheriff Gavan and the 1987 film Spaceballs, which Spaceballs is like...
That's based on the lightsabers.
Yeah. So that's,
indirectly.
yeah. So, I mean, come on now. I wonder if he like said that in some public statement just to avoid like any issues with Star Wars. He's like,
maybe
it's
it sure
actually
does
from
make
that.
lightsaber sound effects.
It does. Other character influences include Scarlett Johansson
What?
for Sylvia,
Okay.
Ian Curtis for Henry, Charles Bronson for Dr. Pierce, and I'm gonna butcher this, but Genichiro Tenryu as Thunder Ryu, which he's like the mentor that you learn like all the fighting moves from and stuff, and you get to train and do your strength training and stuff.
Yeah.
The city of Santa Destroy, I thought it was based on, for some reason I thought it was like not San Diego, but it is. I thought it was like Santa Barbara or something. But it's based on San Diego, California. So little, I don't know. I guess you kind of feel that like when you play it that it's somewhere in California at least, based on the environment.
I don't know who would want to live in this city.
Oh my
It's
god.
like everything there is just like,
Awful.
yeah, it's all based around just like death,
Yeah,
destruction, and fighting each other.
but if you're poor, you can just kick open a garbage bin though, and might have $2,000 in there for you.
you
Dude,
might have enough to go get yourself some pizza butt.
yeah. Yeah, what else about this? Let's see. Obviously, like No More Heroes is very violent. In an interview, Suda said that his goal is to make it even more violent than Manhunt 2, which Manhunt 2 was a really famous game for receiving an adult-only rating by the ESRB. There was a trailer shown at GDC in March of 2007, which showed the beam katana decapitating heads and cutting them in half, with tons of blood spilling out. Later, though, that was edited to be clouds of black pixels and objects that looked like coins instead of blood, which was explained later by that the Japanese version, right, could not have blood like this. Which me and Austin were talking about this yesterday. It's interesting that this game was released in Japan just as is, with the black stuff coming out instead of blood. But I forget what we were Metal Gear Rising. Whenever we were talking about that, we talked about how like decapitation and stuff is like a big no-no in Japanese culture. And yet this game has that, but because it's black stuff, it's fine?
Well, it's kind of like, have you ever watched Samurai Jack?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's an episode pretty early on where he fights a ton of robots, and they don't spew blood, but they do spew oil. And so there's this very bloody, visceral scene where he's fighting, just like cutting up robots in all sorts of ways. And he's just getting it. If they replace it with anything red, he'd be blood soaked, right? But it's oil, so it's like, oh, it's okay. It's not blood. It's not, so it's technically not gore.
Right.
It's just a kind of a clever way around it. It's inching around.
Yeah.
I know Kill Bill, during like the big scene at the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
The reason that was so like that's black and white to avoid an NC-17 rating supposedly.
Oh my god.
But then there's like there's supposed to be like a full-on uncut version that it's all in full color that's like unrated.
Ooh.
So there's some little very specific things that you can do around to get around like edging over into that too much territory.
So bizarre. The European version also has the black clouds, just like the Japanese version. The North American
they were mad
one,
about that.
probably, but the North American version, you know, we got that blood.
We got that blood.
But yeah, that's a little, summary of the development of this game. Let's go into the plot. I'm gonna put the spoiler tag on. I don't know if, totally up to you. I feel like this game is more about the gameplay. Like, it's more about that than
we'll probably
the story,
go into like double spoilers for the final boss, maybe.
Okay.
That's really where the plot really kicks in.
All right, fine. All right, so spoilers on. Let's talk about the story. So it follows Travis Touchdown, who lives in a motel room, which is decorated with anime and wrestling stuff. He lives in Santa Destroy, California, which we talked about before as being, similar, inspired by San Diego. He wins his katana at an internet auction, and he runs out of money to buy video games and wrestling videos. And he's at a bar, and he's super upset, and that's where he meets Sylvia, right? That's my understanding of what happened, at least.
Yep.
He accepts a job from Sylvia to kill Helter Skelter, also known as the Drifter, which earns him rank 11 by the UAA, or United Assassins Association, which is just, I don't know, a group of assassins. Realizing that he has an opportunity to make it to the top, he sets out to become the #1 assassin in the UAA. After killing the 10th ranked assassin, Sylvia reveals that if Travis stops killing, he'll eventually be targeted by the other aspiring assassins. So now he's convinced that the only way out is to go up, kill every assassin that gets in his way. There's also another little thing, though, that is promised as well if he gets to the top.
Ugh.
Right, guys?
Ugh.
Oh, yeah.
He has promised that he'll get to have some fun times with Sylvia if he makes it to the top. And man, is that, that is in your face constantly.
Yeah.
That's...
That was one piece of the game that didn't really, age super well.
No.
But I remember at the time playing it, when it first came out, it seemed a lot funnier back then. I think it was just something Like it's kind of like your first time hearing the F word in a video game. It's just like, whoa, I've never heard this has never happened before. And now it's like if you play something like what's that game, Bulletstorm, it's just like, this is excessive. This is really just too much.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind playing Bulletstorm for a video game club at some point.
It's only like 3 or 4 hours long.
Really?
It's really short.
Huh. Today I learned. Anyway, so most of the assassins are like, you just go kill them. They have some little quirk or a little special thing that you have to do in the fight. But one of them he is unable to kill, which is assassin number 8, which is Shinobu.
Because she's a child, and you can't kill children in video games.
Well, they also imply that he's like not willing to kill women.
Yeah, I think it was mainly because, it was a girl, I believe.
Which that rule's broken
later on.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But I think it's mainly like young and pretty women.
Yeah. Okay, so before I go up to the 5th battle, are there any other?
He does slice off Shinobu's hand, and she's like demanding that he kill her, but she is let go.
During the
even though Sylvia comes and is like, you have to finish the kill, you have to, and then he just doesn't.
Yeah, it's like the first time he actually like draws a line and doesn't just like listen to her constantly, like do whatever she says or whatever. During the 5th ranked battle, you get to meet Henry, who's this weird Irish man who also has a beam katana, and Henry is voiced by the same voice actor as the main character from Metal Gear Rising. What is his name? Raiden. Yes.
Yeah.
It's pretty nuts.
So he's also like giving you your phone calls, like to assign you missions and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that is him.
And so I don't know if that was supposed to just be the same voice or if it was supposed to be the same character. But like, after you encounter him, the voice on the phone starts getting like more rude. So I feel like it's the same character, but it's never really. I don't think it's confirmed.
No, it's not. The 2 people that clean up after you. It's the shorter one.
He's the guy who calls you.
I thought so.
Okay.
Yeah, but they might have the same voice actor.
Yeah.
There's like 6 voice actors in this game.
So before we go into the top ranked assassin, Austin, are there any bosses or mocks that you guys want to talk about that you thought were like special or fun or just really interesting? There is a section which, Austin, you were kind of starting to hint at, the lady in the minefield.
Yep.
He does kill her, right?
He does not.
Oh, he doesn't?
He's unwilling to, and she ends up killing herself.
Oh, she kills herself. That's right.
Yeah. That fight drove me crazy, by the way, because of all the pitfalls on the beach.
Oh, I ended up not getting really too bothered by that. The main fight that bothered me was the one where the girl would cry.
Oh my god.
Bad girl or whatever.
So, but like the beach one is where they kind of introduce the insta-kill moves. And all the insta-kill moves are just really annoying. Because the first time they hit you with them, it's kind of like more than halfway through the fight.
By the way, this is a boss.
The fights are not trivial.
This is a boss insta-killing you, not you insta-killing the boss, by the way.
Yeah. So, like, on the beach, if you fall into one of those holes, then she throws a bomb in there. And if you don't manage to get out in time, you just die.
Yep.
Because she throws like 12 more.
Yeah.
It's oh, man. The magician, if you get caught, like, in his spotlight, he throws you into, like, a case. And
so I forgot about the magician.
With the motion controls, if like they would swap, you'd be, okay, left Joy-Con or right Joy-Con. If it was the right Joy-Con, I could get out. Anytime it was the left one, I could not get out. And I would try shaking it with the right, like I would try shaking them together, and like shaking them together, I could get out with the right. If it was assigned to right, if it was assigned to left, I could not get out. And oh man. I tried to avoid it a few times and couldn't, so I thought it was unavoidable. And I had to eventually look up a guide. It was just like, just avoid the spotlight.
Was there any boss that was like, before we go into the last boss, was there anyone that was like your favorite?
Oh,
what about the one that you didn't fight? What about that one?
That one was pretty fun.
Yeah.
That was really silly. There was the one where the witch has her big long gun.
Oh, yes.
And you're having to like run down that big stretch while avoiding her shots.
Yeah, that one was cool.
And so like Travis had no issues killing her,
Right.
but
It's just select women, just select.
yeah, women who aren't old and ugly.
Yeah, basically.
But
All right. Well, let's get to the real plot here. So, before meeting the top-ranked assassin, you get a phone call from Sylvia's mom?
You call her.
Oh, you call her?
Sylvia in the previous one said she quit, and then you don't get any call after you finish the other one. So then Travis is like, I don't know why I never did this before. I'm just gonna call the hotline, and then she picks up.
And then her mom's like, yeah, this is just a big con. Like, you're not the first person this has happened to.
But then says, aren't you gonna finish it anyway? And then says the weird, Garden of Madness thing that she says, which I have no explanation for.
They don't.
I think so. My theory is that was not her mom. I think that was just Sylvia doing a voice. Based on, but I don't know. I'm not sure. Based on how the rest of the plot plays out, that's my guess.
I read all of the lore, and basically it's like anytime someone says the UAA isn't real, nope, they're lying. The UAA is real. That was Sylvia's mom, but she's doing something else. Who cares? It's like, what's the point? Keep going.
Anyway, you learn that the con was set up just so that he could get revenge on his half-sister, Jean, who murdered his parents.
Dun, dun,
Dun,
dun.
dun, dun. The reasoning why is pretty good, but then he's like, well, I still have to kill you.
Yeah. And also, his cat is also named Jean. This is not the same person. And
It's because he had a crush on her growing up.
what's funny is that whenever I was trying to see, like, okay, how close am I to finishing? Because whenever I'm trying to, like, wrap something up for Video Game Club, I'm like, all right, is this something I can do tonight, or do I need to do it tomorrow? And I kind of peeked at, like, just what the boss names were, and it was Jean. I'm like, oh, if I have to fight this cat that I've been petting this whole time, and it was also around the same time when Jean, you guys know, like, Jean sneaks out.
When she, like, walks out of the,
and I'm like,
I thought
no.
she was going to be the witch.
Oh, no.
I'm so worried.
God, that was, oh my gosh, that was nuts. Okay, so you you go through this, like, crazy trippy forest, and you end up getting to Jean finally, and
your dead master who the witch killed is, like, guiding you through.
Yeah, he's like trying to help you guide, because it's like it's like a fork, and if you go the wrong way, it just, like, repeats. And
it's kind of like the Lost Woods.
Yeah, until you go the right way. You get there, and Jean is like, I can tell you, but it's a long story. Blah, blah. They basically, like, break the fourth wall, right? They're like, yeah, and he's
he's like, yeah, I can tell you, but I don't know, might make this game higher rating. And he's like, why would you tell me about that now? You have to tell me. And then she's like, I don't know how to tell you. I'm gonna raise the rating of the game. And he's like, well, how about I just fast forward?
Yeah, and then they
but you can find online, like, a slowed down version, and it's like a full on story. I don't know if it would have raised the rating or not. Maybe it would have. But
you learn. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Mm-mm.
Okay, you learn that their father sexually abused her whole life and forced her to become a prostitute, like, to survive, and she ended up becoming a killer because of this, like, abuse that that happened to her as a child, basically.
And that's why she went and
killed
her parents.
Yeah. You start fighting Jean, and it's kind of a crazy fight because she is, like, super fast, like it's kind of nuts. But you get saved by Shinobu, the girl that you ended up not killing, who I'm pretty sure plays a big role in No More Heroes 2.
I haven't run into her yet, but I'm still really early on in that game. I've only, like, really tackled the first real level.
Yeah. But that is not the true ending. The way that you get the true ending is you have to buy all the power-ups for the sword, or the katana, sorry, which are very expensive. Like, millions of dollars.
I just thought they were giving me an option at the end.
Oh, really? No, you can't.
I didn't know you had to unlock that. Okay.
Yeah, it should have been locked for you unless you bought that upgrade.
No, I bought everything.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
If it wasn't clothing, I bought it.
So for me, like I couldn't even select that because I did not upgrade the katana all the way. It's just like grayed out basically. So you fought him then?
I attempted.
Okay, yes. He's also supposed to be really fast and really difficult.
He is really, like, that's an understatement. I figured out how to fight Jean. I tried pretty hard on Henry, and like anytime I actually managed to get a hit, I had hit him a few times by the time I lost my first attempt, and I didn't see any difference in his health bar. And I was just like, I don't think I would like to do this. I'm gonna look up the true ending on YouTube. And the couple of videos I was able to find were both on the sweet difficulty, which is easy mode.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see any that were on mild, which is what we played on.
Correct, yeah.
Which is normal mode.
Yeah, you can pick. We should say like at the start, you can pick sweet and mild, and then once you beat mild, you unlock the harder difficulty,
which is bitter.
Yes. So yeah, let's get to so Henry. So the game really ends whenever you fight Henry. Henry reveals two twists. The first is that he's your twin brother.
Yep.
Because they look so much alike.
And he has an Irish accent.
Hey, twins don't have to look alike.
That's true. But the second is that Sylvia is Henry's wife, which would make her your sister-in-law. Oh, gosh. Yeah, and that he reveals that Sylvia has a habit of disappearing for a while and then returning with tons of money, which is presumably from conning people. Travis then says to Henry that she's a bad wife, but a good woman, insinuating that Travis slept with Sylvia after becoming the #1 ranked assassin. Did it happen? Who knows?
Travis certainly implies it and definitely gets under Henry's skin with it, so.
There's a final clash. The screen flashes and is revealed to be a painting hanging in an art gallery where a little girl, Jean, and her mother, Sylvia, are observing it.
So 3 characters in this game named Jean.
Yeah. The cat, your sister, your half-sister, and the child of Sylvia and Henry.
Who may be your niece or maybe your daughter, depending on if Travis was telling the truth. Who knows?
You don't know.
You don't know. And they tell you there's not going to be a sequel, and they're not going to tell you anything about it beyond that. But then there was a sequel, of course.
There was 2 sequels. Yeah.
2.5 if you count Travis that strikes.
That is true. That is true. Yeah, and that is the plot in a nutshell. Let's move on to release and reception. But before we move on, is there anything you guys want to add? Any super spoilers?
Did you collect all the balls?
No, I did not collect all the balls, but I did collect quite a few, and I did turn them in to get some of those power-ups, which were really cool.
Dude, those were so worthwhile, especially if you got that dash.
I did get the dash.
Oh my gosh.
That made life so easy. Like,
yes.
Oh my gosh.
Once I got the dash, I was like, I'll get all these balls. I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll talk about that in our little piece at the end, but I really liked the open world. So, yeah. Okay. So let's talk about releases. So this game was ported to PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. It was called No More Heroes, Heroes Paradise. It had some new modes in it. It was in HD. The 360 version was the only one that was uncensored, and it got a Z rating.
Oh my god, I didn't know that existed.
By the rating organization in Japan. Yeah. It's very few games get the. What's interesting, me and Austin were also talking about this yesterday, is that like they didn't do that for the PS3 version, which is probably because the Xbox 360 didn't do well in Japan anyway. So they're probably like, why even censor it? Like, who cares? The PlayStation 3 port did support Move controllers.
Oh my god!
If you hate yourself, it was.
Well, I mean, they're basically it's basically a Wii Remote and Nunchuck.
Yeah. It was also ported to Switch, which is the version I played. It was ported by a company called Engine Software, which previously helped on the Killer 7 PC port. And the game was also ported to PC June 9th of this year, 2021. How did it review? It was mostly very positive reviews. People really liked the gameplay, the sense of humor, the satisfying progression. Some things that people called out was the repetition, like in the loop, which I really like that, but whatever. And also that the open world was a bit closed, which, okay, whatever. How did it sell? 10,000 copies in Japan the first day, which is not super good.
Yeah.
On February 15th, 2008, it sold 40,000 copies in Japan. Whenever it came over here. January 2009, it sold. They said in North America it had 208,000, 160,000 copies in Europe. And they said that the Switch and the PC port had strong sales, but that's kind of like all they said because game developers and publishers really like to hold their numbers really close to the chest these days. But I don't think it would be considered like a huge success when it first launched. I don't know if this company is like, if they, like, I know of them, but I wouldn't say like they're known as being like the super successful developer for the most part, right? That just sells like tons and tons and tons of copies.
Well, on top of that, it was launched on the Wii, which is generally seen as a family kid-oriented console.
Yeah.
Like, this was kind of before Nintendo was just like, well, you can put whatever on Nintendo consoles, we don't care.
And Suda called that
so
out.
to have something like very adult on the system, probably affected the sales.
Yeah, Suda had in an interview, he was quoted saying something along those lines as well about that for why it sold so little, considering there was so much install base of the Wii at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is the game. So let's get into our personal takes. Mox, we know that you did not play this game.
No.
But because you love us so much, you did watch it, so you understand like what this game is. Can you just kind of like give us your takes on the movie version?
So it excluded like going and doing the mini games to collect money to pay for your admittance fees.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, it had everything and all the stupid cutscenes. I hated this. Why does this game exist? There's so much just like sexism and all of the any women character is just like instantly called, a bitch. I hated that. Why did they have to just constantly insult women the entire time? Sorry to be all social justice warrior.
No.
My main take.
It did stick out to me a lot more than it did when I played it on the Wii. Because back then it was just kind of normal, but now it's like that has become a much harsher word, and it probably should be seen that way.
Yeah.
But like it definitely stuck out to me more this time. It was just like, ooh, that's a little spicier than I remember.
At the time too, this game was trying to be all edgy as well. Just don't forget that,
yeah.
right? But still, it was not okay.
And I mean, if ever there was a game that I can rightfully call a quote-unquote boy game, please let me call this game a boy game. It was just...
I refuse.
Oh
I'm not
my
gonna let you call any
God.
game a boy game. Other than, what is it called? The guy game? I will let you call that a boy game.
Oh my god. This game was so very clearly made for men and not for women. Just come on. I mean, I just didn't like all of the kind of like gross humor. Like when you save, it's him, using the bathroom. And she always has to mention that whenever she has her boss battle calls to tell him, hey, make sure you use the bathroom. And it just like there's a lot of gross humor like that, and constantly sexualizing what's her name, Sylvia, which of course she wanted to do, which I didn't like either. I guess the game seemed like it had interesting gameplay, but there's too much other junk going on that it made me kind of, I don't know, not like that part of the game. Also, was it just me or was it the same soundtrack every time you were doing like the lead up fight to the boss?
There were variations on the same theme.
Yeah.
It sounded so similar, and so I got kind of frustrated. There were other good tracks, and so I looked up how many tracks there were in the soundtrack. I expected to be like 20, and there's like 70. So I guess I don't know. I just missed how different the soundtracks were. Anyway, other than the grossness of the game, I thought it had an interesting like concept that you're trying to beat everybody, get to the top, and then he didn't really care about doing that. He was just like, oh, I gotta do it. That's what you said. And I was expecting the Garden of Madness thing to be like a would you kindly. Nope, that didn't happen. But otherwise, I liked the tutorial that they had. I did that part. They tell you very well how to play the game, which is good. That's it. That's all I have to say. Don't play this game if you are easily offended. How about that?
That's fair. I think
yeah,
I
that's
think
fair.
you would have really enjoyed the mini games because I thought they were
Yeah.
really fun and like
Ah.
it would have been like a fun way to earn like I that was like my preference on earning money over like the fighting.
Oh.
They were a lot more fun now than they were when the game first came out on the Wii. Because like when it first came out, it was just this thing that you had to do to get back to the core gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, why do I have to do this stupid coconut collecting game? Like, this is so dumb. But doing it now, like, I think that was a little bit ahead of its time. I feel like.
It reminds me a lot of like the Yakuza games quite a bit. You know how there's just this random stuff in between that you can earn money on. Some of it you can, some of it you can't. But you know, there's just like a bunch of randomness there. And
I think what turned people off a bit initially was that it was stuff that you had to do.
That's fair.
Like you didn't have the option to just be like, all right, I want to go on to the next fight. It was like, no, you have to go earn some money to do the next fight, whether you want to go spend money in the city or not.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, I'll go next. Yeah, so I knew of this game, but I did not know what to expect at all. Like I didn't know it was like a hack and slash thing. I knew that it was on the Wii, but that was kind of it. I was really surprised. I played the Switch version. I played with a controller the whole time, and I thought it controlled really well. Like I had a really good time. I didn't feel limited. I didn't feel like there was something like I couldn't do or whatever, or like, I'm not able to like move this stick in the right way or back and forth fast enough or anything like that. It was just like a really fun time with the controller, and I would like play it again with the controller easily.
Did it feel fast while you were moving? That's what I would want to know. It seemed like it was a fast-paced game, but then there were a lot of points where like characters spawned in a random place, and it was hard to get back to them.
I think
Sometimes.
Yeah, it felt mostly. I feel like the pace was really good for the most part. Yeah, I really loved the gameplay loop. I liked like how, you know, you would go fight an assassin, then you would do like some missions, you would earn some money, level up your character, and then go back and fight an assassin. Thought that was really good. The world, like, it has like a really small open world, and I could see how you could criticize that about this game, but I thought it was like perfect. Like, I don't need a ton of stuff to do in an open world. Like, stuff was there if you wanted to get it. Like, there were balls that you could find, there were dumpsters that you could kick open, there was a little treasure, spots that you could dig up, but it wasn't like, I don't know, it was just kind of optional, and I thought it was really fun, and I liked it. I thought it was like just a great like balance, and there wasn't like a huge focus to the open world either, right? Like the main focus of this game, I feel like the open world, the world of the game, and the stuff you do in between the fights is just like almost like a breather in between like where the real game is, and I like that breather. I thought it was really good. Story was just ridiculous and kind of stupid, but the gameplay was really solid, all of it. I started on the hard difficulty bitter, I think is what it's called. I started on it right away as soon as I finished, and I did the first boss, and I loved it. It was great. I don't know, I'm really glad we played this game. I really enjoyed it. I really want to play the second one and the third one and the like weird spin-off one as well. Like, I don't know. I thought it was just like really fun, and it brought me back to a time. It reminded me, like, the open world reminded me a lot of like True Crime Streets of LA for some reason, which is like kind of probably like considered like a bad game, but I played it a lot as a kid and I really liked it. The little like leveling up, or like, you know, get your vitality up and strength stuff up, reminded me a lot of stuff that was in San Andreas, and that came out a little before this, I think. Yeah, it did come out before this. So like, you know, that I can see like some influence there, and I don't know, I just really liked it. It brought me back to like a time where like open worlds were like almost like a simpler thing, and it wasn't more of like, oh, here's a bunch of stuff on this map, and, you know, in a way it's like it's just a huge checklist for you. Like, it didn't feel like that, but if I wanted it to be that, it could be like some, you know, that, but it never like forced itself because there wasn't just a ton of like mess on the map at all times. But yeah, overall, I really liked it. Great game. There were 2 issues that happened on Switch, and maybe this happens on other versions, but the frame rate wasn't super stable. at times, and the graphics like of the open world specifically would do like this weird pop in that would happen. I don't know if you ran into that, Austin.
I don't recall seeing pop in, but I did have some frame rate issues during certain parts, especially if there was just like a ton of blood coming out at one time.
And I'm surprised because it's a Wii game. I would hope that, you know, like the port would have been able to do that on Switch, but like, you know, not have frame rate issues and not have this weird pop in. But overall, I would say it's a great game. 8 out of 10. Highly recommend. If you like games that I usually like, definitely check this one out. And it's on Steam, Switch. Like, you can play the Wii version if you want. Like, it's a pretty accessible game for the most part. What about you, Austin?
So, I really like this game. It's just, like you said, the story's not especially good, but this game is just oozing with style. Anytime you kill an assassin and it like goes to the arcade high score style list where it updates the list, by the end that started to get kind of like long because it had to move each entry. I kind of wish they would show like other people filling those slots or just like leave them empty or something like that, but they all just left them all as stars, but they had to move each one. But still, like, it was just like the music was really fun. It was just like, it looked really cool. It was just like a nice little reward after you finished up. Marvelous. And it was interesting that the music kind of wore on you, Mox, because like going in between, I was doing everything. So I did each of the side jobs, each of the assassination side missions, and I would go max out like all my training and whatever upgrades I could get for the sword and get the new training moves and stuff between each level. And so by the time I would get to the next level and it would come in with that theme in a different style, it was just like, ooh, it put me in that mode. And to where I really liked that theme. And like I've just kind of humming it to myself.
Oh my god.
The mini games I had more fun with this time, and initially I agreed with you, Tyler, that I had more fun doing the mini games versus the assassination missions. But towards the end, you get some assassination missions that give you so much money.
The one that gives you like it's like two enemy types that are random. That one. You know what I'm talking about? That you can get like
yeah. And it's just nonstop for some number of minutes. Kill as many as you can. Yeah. Once you start upgrading your katana, like initially you really had to think about like high and low attacks and like trying to stun people. And once you upgrade your katana, you don't really have to worry about that anymore. It's just like your katana will do stun moves for you.
Oh.
So it's just like just go wild. And the final katana was actually like too slow for that side assassination mission, but it was really good for like main missions. So you had reasons to swap around between your katanas, even though like it was a great upgrade, but like there were still advantages to using a different katana sometimes, which is pretty cool.
Did you collect
the bosses?
Did you collect all the trading cards?
Yes.
What happens when you get them all? Anything? Okay.
Nothing.
I collected them all, then I didn't notice anything, but I thought maybe I just...
As far as I know, nothing happens.
Okay. I
think it's just kind of like something to do, to be like, yeah, I did it. And you don't really have to go out of your way for them very much. So I just... It was cool to have. If they had really made you like really try to search for them, I probably wouldn't have done that. Especially since there's not a reward associated there. I did go for all the balls and got all the upgrades there. Having that dash was just super, super nice. If you play this game, get at least 7 balls and get the dash, because it's just too good. The bosses were all like, they had interesting personalities. I wish they had kind of gotten to tease you a little bit on the way to them.
Yeah.
Because it was like, okay, you'd go through this level fighting a bunch of enemies, and then you'd get to the boss, and it was like, here's the introduction, now we're gonna fight, and here's like their goodbye words. And it would have been cool to kind of get to know them a little bit better, because they all had interesting personalities. Definitely a couple of things that kind of wore on me a little bit, like they rubbed me the wrong way versus when I played it back in 2008. Yeah, the treatment of women, Sylvia in general was like, at one point she was like getting a massage or something like that, and they were doing some angles I don't think you would see in a game today.
Oh yeah.
Like, obviously there was no explicit like genitalia or anything like that, but it was like, wow, that's a lot that they're showing there. And some of that didn't age very well, but I mean, I guess it's a product of its time. Oh man, I'm trying to think. I had something else. Oh, all the characters in the overworld are just super weird.
Yeah, they are.
Which I love. The person who gives you the assassination side missions, like, it's just some person who obviously didn't speak English, and they were just like, here's some lines.
Yeah.
And every time you'd leave, she'd be like, may you find your proper path.
Yeah.
Just stupid stuff
also,
like
that. Also, the guy who owns the video store or whatever, he's really weird. Like,
yeah. Oh,
Naomi,
yeah.
she's
And
really weird.
your trainer.
Yeah.
Your trainer is just he says all this really bizarre stuff to you while it's playing like really sexy music.
He says about like getting naked and stuff and cleaning your...
Oh, you want that?
God.
Oh. I think he tells you to keep your butt clean, stuff like that.
Oh my god.
But, oh man. It's a very distinctive game. Like, I don't think I'll ever forget my time playing this game. It's super memorable. It just stands out from everything else that I've played, which is, that's really cool.
Yeah.
With all everything that I liked and everything that was like a little bit more problematic, I would give it. I'm so close to being an 8 for me. It's so close that I'm going to give it a 7.8. Like, it's just like, there's just a little bit holding it back. But overall, I really enjoyed my time with it. I've already started No More Heroes 2.
Oh my god.
And excited to play through the whole series. So
let me know if the other games are as sexist.
I will let you know. I know 2 came out not very long. It was also a Wii game, and it didn't come out that long after the first one. They've already done a few things where Sylvia will be talking behind like some pane of glass, and like her face is covered up, but like whoever's viewing in the cutscene, like, you're not sure, will like stare at her chest or things like that. And it's like, all right, come on, this is. But I'm suspecting that 3 will be a little bit more modern.
I was getting like some Fury vibes a bit from this game, like,
I do agree there.
with the boss battles and stuff, and like just the style and everything.
I guess one thing I liked about this game better than Fury was that there was more to this game, like upgrading stuff.
Yeah,
I like that.
I think you really would have liked the mini games. They were fun. I like them.
Yeah.
Okay. That was our little dive and our little take on No More Heroes. Next episode will be a bit different because it's going to be our side quest, which, if you're not familiar with side quest is a way for us to play a much longer game over like a longer period of time. Usually we just do like every 3 months. So like the most we've done Dragon Quest 11 and Nier Automata, and the one coming up, which will be in 2 weeks, is The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. But we also need to pick our next game, which is why there was a vote in the Discord, in the Bombchu Discord, and the winner is, well, before I say the winner, let me say what the choices were. It was between Death Stranding, The Last of Us, and Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen, and the winner is, with 9 votes, Death Stranding.
Yay!
Thank you everyone for voting. Death Stranding is available on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, PC. The Director's Cut just came out. We don't care which version you play. We'll probably touch on them all. That game is going to be really interesting when we get to the plot part because it's all over the place. Oh my lord. We might have to, figure out how we do this one. But yeah.
We'll see if we can get Norman Fetus to come and guest on that.
God.
Yeah, let me just make some calls. Thank you everyone for joining. Again, just as a reminder, you can catch us live here on twitch.tv/BombchuTV every 2 weeks at 2 Eastern, with the next stream being on October 10th, which will be the Legend of Zelda Wind Waker stream. Or if you can't make the live session, don't worry. You can find the episode up on youtube.com, thanks to the magic of editing, and all major podcast services. Just search Bombchu Video Game Club. You'll find it, because search is so good these days. Now, before we leave, Austin, any plugs? Anything you'd like to say to the people out there?
Nope.
Nothing. Mox, anything you want to plug?
That I respect women, but humor is okay.
All right.
That's just what I want to say.
Nothing wrong with that. Do I have anything that I want to plug? If things go well,
Your thing.
There may be a video about games that joined Game Pass in September. But my work has been kind of crazy. Life has been kind of crazy, so we will see. But that should be happening. Austin, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Mox, I know you've been a very busy little bee, but thank you so much for joining as well.
Thanks for having me, even though I didn't play the game.
You know, A for effort still.
Oh, I got an A!
No one wants to just see me and Tyler up here.
No. No, they don't. We need you.
Thank you.
I'm Tyler. This was Video Game Club, episode 33. I can't believe there's been 33 of them.
So many.
No more heroes, and we're out.